Hi, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make my simple slime farm. Now slime is a great resource, but it's also hard to get a lot of. The best way to do it is by building a farm, like the thing behind me. Unfortunately, most of the other designs out there take a long time to build, and though usually not mentioned in the tutorials, take even longer to prepare the area around the farm. We're talking tens of hours lighting up caves and placing slabs where slimes can spawn. And if you miss out on just one cave, the farm can slow down dramatically. This design only uses surface spawns, which makes it about 2 times faster to build and about 10 times faster to prepare the area around, no wasting time making caves spawn proof. After weeks of research, I can tell you this is the fastest surface-only design that exists. This works for all current versions of the game, except for PlayStation or Java Edition. If you're new to these builds, or Bedrock Edition, I'll walk you through all the steps you need to know to understand what's going on. And to show you how easy it is to build, I'll be doing it in survival, along with a few tips I picked up along the way. If you're an expert already or you want to skip around, there's going to be timestamps in the description below. But I think with that, we're ready to go, so let's get started. The very first thing we'll need to do is to choose a location for our slime farm. Now, places you want to look for are places which are flat and dry. So the best places, of course, are going to be desert biomes, kind of like this one right here. Another good option would be a plains biome, without too many little pools of water. Things you want to avoid are going to be areas with large rivers going through them, or oceans. Now this right here is the desert where I'm going to be building my slime farm. It's dry and flat, and I think it'll work just perfect for my needs. Now once you get to the area we're going to build, go ahead and walk towards about the middle of it, and place down a block. Now what we're going to do is jump on that block, stand right on it, and then take note of our coordinates. Go ahead and write those down somewhere, and go to the website that'll be right here at the top, though there'll also be a copy of it in the description. Now, on this website, you'll see a little map. Below it shows little squares. Each of those squares represents a different chunk of your world. Now, a chunk is a 16 by 16 block area. Not all chunks are places where slimes can spawn, and the ones where they can spawn are green. Those are called slime chunks. Now, you may have heard that it depends what seed you have or what your world is for where these slime chunks are, but that's not how it works on this edition. All the slime chunks are going to be in the same spot. So we're going to go ahead and write our coordinates that we wrote down earlier into these boxes here, and the little red dot that shows where we are will pop right where we are in our world currently. Now you want to find a slime chunk nearby. I have a little one right there to the right, so I'm going to drag the map into it, so the little red dot where I am will be inside of that chunk. Now, at the bottom, below where we entered the coordinates earlier, you'll see 2 sets of coordinates. The first set of coordinates is going to give the block coordinates for the very northwest side, or the top left side of that chunk. So go ahead and take that and write it down. The right set of coordinates, the second set of coordinates, is going to be the bottom right corner of the chunk. Write those down too, and we'll hop back into your world. Alright, so once you've gone ahead and got your coordinates, go ahead back into your world and mark the 4 corners of your slime chunk. Now, you only have 2 coordinates, but you can go ahead and fill in where the other 2 are. Now, here's what it should look like, a nice 16 by 16 block area, and this is where our slime chunk is. So to make it a little bit more obvious, go ahead and dig down a couple blocks. It makes it a bit easier to tell what's going on. I think especially for this video, it makes it easy to see. Now, the way this farm works is that we only want mobs to spawn inside this chunk, specifically only slimes. But all the ones that spawn on the surface outside can slow down how fast this farm works. So, for example, this little husk over here would normally be slowing down the rate that the slimes are spawning in this chunk. Now, the game doesn't check the whole world, it actually just checks an area right by this chunk. So remember, a chunk is 16 by 16 blocks, but it's going to start at that chunk and it's going to check every chunk outward, 1, 2, 3, 4 chunks out, and also all the blocks in between. So then you get a nice 9 by 9 chunk square that we need to prepare to make sure nothing can spawn in there. Now, to figure out the area we need to spawn proof, let's go ahead and go back to the Slime Finder app. We'll count up 4 chunks and over 4 chunks, and we'll grab the coordinates of the top left block in that by looking at the first set of coordinates. That'll be the top left block of the area we need to clean out. Then we'll do the same thing for the bottom right. We'll go down 4 and over 4, drag the little red circle inside of that chunk, and then we'll pay attention to the second set of coordinates, which will be the very bottom right corner of the area we need to prepare. At this point, go back into your world and mark those 4 corners. Now, you want to place a torch right on the corner, and then some solid blocks to the outside edge. That way it's a bit more obvious. that the area inside is the stuff you have to prepare and make spawn proof, but the areas outside of this doesn't matter at all. You don't have to use the same blocks I do, but whatever works. Go ahead and do that with the other 4 corners, just like I did with the slime chunk, and you'll end up with something like this, where you have 1, 2, 3, 4 corners marked, and your slime chunk in the middle. As this farm relies on only mobs that spawn on the surface, we need to make sure that no mobs can spawn on the surface in our 9x9 chunk area. However, there's a couple ways the game can trick itself into thinking that something is spawning on the surface, even though it's not, and it's actually below ground. One of the ways it'll do that is trees. You only have to get rid of the bottom 2 blocks of the tree, but floating trees are the worst, so go ahead and get rid of all of them. Same thing with cactus. Also, any non-full block that has a hitbox, for example a fence, a slab, or a stair, don't have any of those in your area on the ground level. I also recommend if you have any ponds like this, where mobs can spawn in them, like drowned, or if they can fall in there, go ahead and cover those up and kill anything inside of there. If you have little caves like this, same sort of thing, just go ahead and cover those up. Perfect. Now, you may not have a choice but to do this in an area where there's a stream or a river. So go ahead, and there's 2 ways you can deal with it. If it's a little one, you can just cover it up with blocks like this, though that might still be annoying, it takes a lot of blocks. Another option is to use light blocks like jack-o'-lanterns or sea lanterns, and go ahead and cover the whole bottom area so nothing can spawn in there. It's really just a pain to deal with all of this, and if you have a way around it you should, but do what you have to, I suppose. Once you've finished cleaning out your area, you should have no trees or cactus and it should look nice and smooth like this. Now it's time to lay torches down. Now this will stop anything from spawning at night on the surface. Now you'll probably need quite a few torches for this, though I tend to put too many of them. The general rule of thumb is that with every block you need to make sure there's a torch about 5 blocks away from it, and no more. Now you really don't need this many torches, but if you do go this heavy it'll take about a chest worth of torches to light up the whole area. Now I recommend, just as a matter of ease, to start from the outside and work your way in. That way it's really clear to tell where you've already been. Once you finish torching up the whole area, you'll have a nice glowing 9x9 chunk square with your slime chunk in the middle. We're now to the point where we can dig down the slime chunk down to level 39. So we have 3 coordinates there at the top left. We're going to be digging down the whole chunk till we reach Y39. So right now I'm at 50. Now on your way down you may encounter little caves like this in the sides. Go ahead and smooth them out with blocks so it's a nice smooth fall all the way down and nothing that can spawn in there can fall down and interfere with our farm. Now you may hear a skeleton in the background, I'm not sure how the audio will turn out, but we don't even need to worry about that because it's a cave spawn and not a surface spawn. Now once you get down to the bottom, level 39 again, this is where the slimes will begin to spawn, level 39 and below. Now we're going to go ahead and make a nice smooth platform at 39, so cover up any little caves you see, and just make a nice, perfectly smooth spot for them all to spawn. Now this is where you'll do something that seems kind of weird, that it's based on kind of a weird mechanic of how spawning works. When a mob spawns, it doesn't spawn in the middle of the block that it's chosen. It actually spawns to the northwest corner of that block. So that means that if there's another solid block right there on the north or the west side, that it won't actually spawn. In this case, what we're going to go ahead and do is clear out 1 block deep and 3 block high space along the north of our little spawning platform. Now, finding north can be kind of hard to do when you're down here, but I just used a map to find it. Now, clearing out just these few blocks that I'm doing right here makes this whole farm 6.7% faster. And I am really proud of doing the math to figure out how that worked. Okay, now once you've done that, you're gonna go ahead and dig out a 3 block overhang, just like 1 block overhang, but deeper, on the east and the west sides of your farm. Now this spawning platform is gonna be right in the middle, but these 3 block overhangs is where the slimes are gonna jump off and fall to their deaths. We're gonna have little pits on them to fall into on both sides, and as soon as they hit the ground, they will no longer count as surface spawns, but they will be counted as cave spawns. So we can have even more slimes spawn in just our little place. Okay, once you've gone ahead and finished that, you should have nice, clear thing that looks just like this. A 3 block overhang on the left or the east, a 3 block overhang on the west, a 1 block deep on the north overhang, all 3 high. And then you should have a nice smooth wall on the south. At this point too, you'll notice that if you leave and come back. At this point, we're ready to place some iron golems in. Now the way this farm works is that the slime will spawn right on the spawning platform here in the middle, and then they'll be attracted to iron golems in either of the sides, like this one here that I've already built up, and they'll fall to their doom into the pits that we'll dig in front of them. So placing the iron golems can be a little bit tricky. So you may want to follow this part a little bit closely, but what you want to do is first find the center center 2 blocks, in your chunk. So go out 7 blocks on one side, and on this side we'll have to come to the edge of the chunk, and then go another 7 blocks. These 2 blocks should be the middle on the chunk. We'll go right forward, and we'll dig a 3 high and 2 deep hole for the iron golem to go in. Just like that. Once you've done that, go ahead and place a torch in there to keep it nice and light so nothing else will spawn. Place down 3 fences just like that. Here I'm going to double check to make sure I'm right in the middle. I'm always worried about that sort of thing. Now the next thing you'll need to do is to dig a little escape hatch for yourself. I tried this quite a few times and ended up having to kill quite a few golems and waste quite a little bit of iron, but it was in the name of knowledge, so yay. Anyway, I hope you follow this really closely, it'll only help. Come on in and place another fence down to seal yourself in. Place your 4 iron blocks just like this, and your carved pumpkin right on top. The golem will spawn in right here. Perfect. And then you can go ahead and seal off your little escape hatch. Now, of course, I messed up when I placed that block, so there's going to be a couple extras, but go ahead and come on back out and fill up all those blocks that you made to make your hole. Go ahead and place a torch down again also if you're like me and you made a mistake. And just like that, you should have your 2 iron golems in. So now we're ready to go ahead and light up the platform with torches. Torches won't stop anything from spawning that's a slime, so you can put down as many as you want. I put down too many as usual, but don't worry about that. Just make sure the whole platform is lit up well. We want it bright enough that other things like zombies and skeletons can't spawn, and just our slime will. At some point in this process, you're going to want to put in access to get down to the various levels of the farm. It's kind of a pain to pillar up all the time or to fly out with rockets, so build this whenever works out best for you. Now what you want to do is put in a ladder or some other method, but however works, I recommend a ladder. And you're going to need to come down to 3 different levels. The first one, probably the most obvious, is level 39. So why 39? And that's where your spawning platform is. This is a good spot to have a door so you can get out and check on things, and put the door there so the slimes don't escape. The next spot down you'll need is going to be the bottom of the drop shafts where the slimes fall in to die. This is level 18. Put a spot right down here, and this is where you'll collect their items. And the bottom spot you'll need is level 13. This is where you're going to AFK while you're waiting for the farm to work. At the very top, make sure to put 2 solid blocks above, and you can now get rid of the blocks marking your chunk. Okay, we're now ready for some of the final steps here. Now I've already built what we're going to have over here on this side before we build it on the other side, but it's going to be a drop to level 18, and the slimes are going to jump off, attacking the iron golem, and fall in the magma box and die. So now we're going to build the same thing over here. I've already started a little bit so you can see where we're going to dig, but what we're going to do first is build a little wall off to the side. You'll find that slime can spawn while you're digging, and that'll be annoying. This way they won't fall down on you. Now once you've got the hole dug to the very bottom, you'll see some torches up there. Those are just so you can see what's going on a little better. You don't need them. Go ahead and dig out to your access. Now this is where that ladder is that we just had you put in, or wherever else you have an entrance to this. You'll need some way to access this point. So here's where it is, just so you can have a good way to orient yourself. Now you'll need to grab some things. You'll see all the stuff I have in my hotbar. That's exactly what you'll need to build this. What we're going to do is be placing some rails down, and then some magma blocks on top of the rails. First thing we're going to do though is remove a few blocks right around here. So we want to take out the corner blocks, a couple deep, and then we're going to take out these 2 blocks right here. Perfect. Now grab some hoppers and place one, and then crouch place the other one into the back. Perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and pull out our rails and start with our powered rails. We'll place 2 down at the very beginning and a lever on and power it on so we can see the powered rails glow red. We'll crouch place a rail there and then place rails all the way to the very end. I'll wrap them around, and we need to actually have that second to last one be a powered rail. So we'll go ahead and place a powered rail there, but you'll see that sometimes rails don't do what you want them to do. They can be annoying, but you'll get the hang of it, I suppose. and just work with it until it works for you. But anyway, then break that block, place a lever there to power it. Now we're going to bring regular rails somewhere at about the middle, and we're going to dig down 3 blocks. 1, 2, 3, hop on in, and then right underneath that block where the rail's going to go, we're going to place a lever and power it on. I realize it's kind of dark and hard to see, so I'm sorry about that. Okay, now once we place a powered rail, we should be able to see that it's turned on and powered. So we have to crouch place on top of this hopper again, and we'll bring the rails back around, though once again they just don't behave the way we want them to behave, so we'll have to rearrange them. Perfect. Powered rail will go right there, and we'll return that one powered rail. We'll power that powered rail in just a little bit. I forgot to do it right then, but we'll do it in just once we finish all the others. Go to the very end with regular rails, and the last 2 blocks will be powered rails. Go and break that block, power it with a lever, just like all the others, and we'll go back to the beginning and do the same thing with this one. Lever, powered on. Now, if everything was installed correctly and all the rails are powered, we should be able to place our minecart with a hopper on, give it a little nudge, and it should go all the way to the end and back without any problems. So I'll watch to make sure it's all working. Perfect. Looks like it's all going great. So if we flip this lever, it'll stop it from bouncing back and forth forever. Perfect. Now we're going to dig out these 2 blocks right here, and this is where we're going to be where we place our double chest. So 1, 2 chests right here. Now, as the hopper passes over those, as the minecart with the hopper passes over those hoppers, it will drop the slimes it picks up into them, which will then feed them into the chest. Now we're going to place our magma blocks. So go 1 block above the rail, and place them down just like this. Now, I realize magma blocks can be kind of annoying to get, and you actually only need a few of them. You only need about 1 every other block, if that works easier for you. For me, I just thought it looked better to have all of them and it was easier to place them. But the farm won't slow down at all if you put them every other block. Perfect, once they're like that, we're all set to go. When items fall on top of the hopper minecart, or on top of the magma blocks, it'll be collected from the hopper minecart underneath those blocks. And the hopper minecart will go back and forth as long as that lever is on. Now while we've been building this other side's been going, and we can see it's already collected slime. Back up on the spawning platform, you'll need to go ahead and get rid of your wall. And this is also a great opportunity to see how the farm works up close. So this big slime is chasing after the iron golem, and he falls and instantly dies. That's key to how this farm works. And then the little ones will all die as they break apart. Now it's kind of hard to tell, but the little slime items there will be picked up and disappear as the hopper minecart goes underneath. So now we're going to address where you're supposed to wait to make this farm work. Now, as we installed the access, you probably already saw this, but what we want to do is go down to the very bottom and wait on that level. First, on our way down, we'll go ahead and make sure that both the minecarts are still running. Good, they both are. And we'll hop back down to this level. Now, you want to AFK inside the slime chunks. That's going to be somewhere here. Whatever you do, you don't want to be somewhere over here by this wall. Now, you can be kind of dangerous, so you may want to put a little wall there to keep you safe. If you're on a realm, go ahead and build a minecart there and just go in circles in the minecart and you won't get kicked. Another quick note is that if you're on a simulation distance of more than 4 chunks, that is, then mobs can spawn outside of your perimeter and walk in and slow things down. It's not a huge deal because they will despawn really quickly, but if you're worried about that and you want to have a little bit faster rates, go ahead and put a 2-high wall of solid blocks with torches on top. So here's the finished project. I decided to decorate it a little bit, and if you want to do the same thing, make sure you use solid blocks and make sure they're lit on top. And if you want to put something on top of the platform like I did with the glass, make sure it's something like glass that won't stop anything from spawning down below. So you'll still see the slime spawning down there. Now this project has taken me a lot of time to do all the research and put the video together. I'd say probably about 60 hours of work. But I've really enjoyed it. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. That's one of my favorite things to do, is help people understand this game better. So feel free to ask me. And I'm probably going to make a video about the kind of the more science and math that goes into the research of this. Either way, hope you enjoy, and I guess I'll see you next time.